Here I am ready to talk Skeleton Crew. A new Star Wars live action series, and I can't wait to watch and podcast. Each episode I will share my thoughts without any notes. I'm ready to start watching on Disney Plus. We'll watch on Disney Plus. Crewnies on Disney Plus. We'll never ever say die.
Greetings, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to the season finale of Crewnies Never Say Die. We did it. 8 weeks, 8 episodes, 8 podcasts, 8 videos. Here we are, finally at the end of what I'm calling the season finale of Skeleton Crew. I am not calling the series finale of Skeleton Crew because after seeing this episode, I tend to believe that we are going to have a season 2. What will that be? What will that mean? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. The big question I had last week did not get answered or addressed in any way. It was not even touched on. One of the big mysteries, of course, was who's the supervisor. And I might have thought, and I'm sure this isn't an original thought, is it just a recording? Well, it isn't just a recording, but it is just some sort of droid, some AI giant droid with a HAL-looking light that, I guess can easily be taken out with one lightsaber. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This is the season finale of Skeleton Crew. And at first thought, did it pay off? I would say for the most part, yes. I think the only thing I didn't love was not getting the answers to the questions that I wanted to know. Who are they actually stealing from? Are they actually stealing from someone? Who is having them make this money? I posted that on TikTok, Geek Mentality Mike, while TikTok's still there. And I think some people just said they're just making it. They're not making it for anybody. They're just making it because the program tells them to make it. And I think it seems like, at least based on the non-answer that we got to that might be the most logical solution, the most logical explanation. I'm not entirely sure, but we didn't get any answers. So as far as we know, they're just making these credits to have these credits. Now, will they use these credits to fund, will the Republic come in and be like, oh, now that we know you're here, you can kind of join the Republic and pay your taxes here. Here's your tax bill, 1 gazillion credits. It's like, okay, sure. We'll just keep making them. I'm not entirely sure, but it seemed like the whole thing with the supervisor being just an electronic, AI droid was not a surprise, because Fern's mom was like, oh yeah, that's just she wasn't shocked. She wasn't looking for somebody. It was a surprise to Jod, and it was, I guess, supposed to be a surprise for us. But again, I'm jumping all over the place. This episode opens up pretty much exactly where it left off. But when we saw Jod taking out the lightsaber threateningly, and as the kids saw that, because it really was threateningly, the parents were like, this was great. Thank you, Mr. Jedi. Thank you for bringing the kids back safely. I hope they weren't too much trouble. He's like, oh, yes, they were very much in trouble, stealing a ship and doing this and doing that. They should be confined to their rooms, and they should not he gave them threatening looks, and except Fern, you come with me to meet this supervisor. You can accompany me and your mom too. I will keep good watch over you. I think he might have seen Fern as the one who might cause the most ruckus. Not the case, but the kids go back with their parents. They go back home. Wim's dad is, completely aloof until maybe 2 minutes left. No, he gains something maybe halfway through, but he's just like, good to have a home cooked meal, which was like, it looked like an air frying, like dehydrator, which I've seen these things on the market. Like it looks like something you can actually buy today to make your food, or like the way it was in a tin. It was one of those, like they call them Tavolo or something. There's some, you ever see one of those, like you get all those things where you can get your pre-made meals, or you get your ingredients sent to you and you cook them. That is hard. I do not like doing that. I tried it. It's like, this is only 6 steps and each step is 15 steps each. And then they have the thing where you can get the microwave meals. We've done that pretty good, but it's not cheap. And now they have something where it's like, you give us the oven, we'll give you the oven. Now the oven, it was like $300 for the oven. Now it's free. And we'll send you the food and you can scan this QR code to put it in the oven. It's like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because why wouldn't they just say, put your oven at 300 degrees and stick it in your oven? Stick it right in your oven. What does that have to do with Star Wars? Nothing, except that when Wim and his dad were eating, that's what it reminded me of. So if you don't know that I go all over the place in the show by this point, I don't know what to tell you. But he's like, it's so great to have you back, son. And he's like, yeah, it's really great, Dad. He's like, aren't you happy to have your home cooked meal? And you could see Wim wanted to say something, but Jod sent all these droids off to spy on them. Anything that is said gets reported back to the emissary, because they think he's an emissary, I guess, from the Republic, is my thinking. So while Wim is kind of like keeping his mouth shut with his dad, we don't really see Fern doing much with her parents, or Neil. I'm sorry, we don't see KB doing much with her parents and Neil. Fern goes with her mom. That's when she goes to the up to the supervisor, and we see the supervisor is just a big giant computer. And she's the same thing. She's like, oh, she doesn't want to say something. She doesn't want to say something because she knows that Jod at least claims to threaten to kill them. But I'm not so sure about that, because he didn't kill anybody. He didn't hurt anybody. And at the very end, he kind of gave up fairly, fairly easierly, quicker than I would have imagined. But he wants his second ship down. He's like, I need to get my second ship down. It's very important. We get my second ship down. I'm the emissary. Get my second ship down. Get my second ship down. He says it so much. Fern's mother's finally like, I don't know how I feel about this. This seems a little, not quite up, like on the up and up. I'm not sure if that's what, like she got suspicious of that. And it was funny because he claimed to be a Jedi, and the computer was like, well, I have a question for you. This would have been great if this was William Daniels, Kit from Knight Rider. But which I thought one of the droids was last week, but I haven't seen nothing on it, so I would imagine it isn't. But I like that the supervisor finally says, now it says you say you're a Jedi, but in my records, all the Jedi were killed, or all the Jedi are traitors. See, that's an interesting one. All the Jedi are traitors. Now that was taught to the Empire, right? That was Order 66. Take out all the Jedi. So are they still under the impression that the Empire's still going? That can't be the case. That cannot be the case. And I might be getting my Star Warsian history wrong, but that seemed to be some sort of clue to me that he said, all the Jedi are traitors. So what are you lying about? Are you an emissary or are you a Jedi? Which one are you lying about? And that's when he just takes the lightsaber and shoves it right in this red dude's, right in the red light, taking him out. And apparently he runs everything and the power runs through him too, because then all the power in the city goes out and everything goes dark. And Wim's dad's like, oh, there must be some sort of power outage going on here. Wim's like, Dad. He goes over and knocks over a droid. He's like, what are you doing, son? He goes, listen, I have to tell you, Jaw's not an emissary. He's a pirate, and he's bringing the bad guys to this plane. He's like, what do you mean? And what I love is at this point, KB and Neil show up on their speeder bikes. We need to get out of here. That's when I think, wait a minute. He knocks out the computer, which then knocks out it allows them to stop. I just watched it. Fern's mother, she wants them to shut off the barrier completely, but instead she's like, no, I can tell you how to get in. We can't close the barrier because that is the only way that keeps us safe from the rest of the galaxy. So she's been brought up with this whole thing. They live in fear. Basically, that's what AT-AT does. They live in fear. And she's like, oh no, I'll let your ship through. Please don't hurt us. But do not allow the barrier to go down because that's bad. So the ship comes down and Wim's like, Dad, we need to get going. We need to get out of here. We need to. So they go to try to start their vehicle. It doesn't work. The speeder bikes show up and it's Wim it's KB and Neil, and they take Wim and he's like, let's get out of here. The dad's like, don't you go. And he's like, I'm out of here, Dad. And this is where we get some of the most exciting parts of the show that remind me of, again, that Amblin Entertainment, that Steven Spielberg, the Goonies on a bike chase, the E.T. on a bike chase, Star Wars with the speeder bike. We get kind of a nice mixture of that in this scene where the three of them are racing. Wim's dad takes a bike from another guy with a sidecar. I thought Neil was going to jump in the sidecar, but they're racing through the school. They're trying to, I forget exactly where they're trying to go, but Neil remembers when they're on that sister planet that was very much like AT-AT, that on the top of the school, there was a gun. So he's like, well, maybe our planet has one too. We just never needed it. And he's like, go on without me, which I thought was ballsy of Neil. He goes up there and he starts shooting at the bad space guys. They have a plan to go turn the power back on. Now, here's the thing. We need to call for help. We need to get to the ship. Listen, guys, if you don't know me at this point, I'm all over the place. I have no notes. I just watched the show and it's all just coming into my head. Well, they need to get to the ship. So they get to their old ship because no one's paying attention to that ship. They're ready to take off, but they're bolted in place. They got bolted in when they parked, and they need electricity to turn off the bolts. So now Wim and his dad need to go to, where do you turn on the electricity? Because he's like, I can turn it back on, but it's up in the supervisor's tower. And we know Jod is there with Fern and Fern's mom. So they separate. Wim shows up and he's like, I called the X-Wing pilots. I called them and the real good guys are coming. He says this a couple of times, the real good guys. We need to get to the real good guys. Because KB's plan is to take the ship, get up past the barrier and call the real good guys. Because, their ship can pass through because it's an AT-AT ship. So they need the electricity on to get the boot off so that they can get the ship off. And it's kind of like all these little things need to happen. Wim distracts Jod so his dad can turn the electricity back on enough so that KB does get the ship off. She takes off and she reaches the sky. She calls the Owl Cat lady. I forget her name, Kim something or other, voiced by Maybe from Arrested Development. She's like, I will bring help. We'll bring the whole Armada. We'll bring the whole Republic. And I thought, part of me thought, the Republic's going to be like, what the hell? She's like, you found AT-AT. I'll send you the coordinates. Did I mention that 33 holding his head in his hand helped KB? Her mother's like, you can fly this thing? She's like, I have a little help. They take off in the spaceship. So now KB is up in the ship doing a business. Neil is on top of the school. He helps shoot the pirate ship that came down because the pirates came through and they started wreaking havoc. I mean, real havoc. I feel like people were killed. I don't know if anyone died, but people were killed as they were taking over. And Jod's like, I am now your commander. Don't kill them. He told them, don't kill them because I want them to be able to work for me. I need people to keep running the mint. He's like, I am your commander. You now listen to me and everything's going to be fine. If you don't, it's going to be repercussions will be brutal. So he basically everyone thinks, oh shit, we're now under his rule. But that's when KB steals the ship. That's when Neil shoots the ship, even though he has to run for his life because he almost gets taken out. KB calls for help, but they won't be able to get through because of the barrier. So now you remember that switch that turns off the barrier? Well, now it's kind of like a fight in between Jod and Wim's dad and Wim and Fern and Fern's mom. And he can only be so much of a Jedi. And he's like this, Wim's like, he's holding the switch at one point because his dad distracted him. Oh, his dad actually gets up and punches Jod. Finally does something. But Jod pulls the lightsaber right on him. He almost shoots Fern and Fern's mom. He has the lightsaber on Wim's dad, but he doesn't pull the trigger. He doesn't kill. He doesn't even cut off a hand. He could threaten, cut off a finger, something. He doesn't do any of those things, which makes me wonder, is he all talk? Is he completely full of it as far as being as violent as he claims to be? Is it all a threat? I don't know. I still wanted him to turn back to be a good guy somehow because I liked him being a good guy. I just liked the pirate, leading this band of like wayward, like mischief kids. But I guess he's the villain. I would think he is. So eventually they all fight enough that the lightsaber goes one way and they're all fighting, he's trying to hold back the dad. The dad's holding him back and the dad's trying to hit the switch and Fern's mother finally pulls the switch, shutting off the entire barrier. I don't know if you can't just turn it back on, but the barrier's off and the sky opens up to this beautiful starry sky. And then it's like, all these X-Wings show up and bam, 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 all the pirates get taken out. This is where I don't understand that Jod just kind of gives up. Before that happened, because of the pirates, they were wreaking havoc. They actually shot KB and 33 out of the sky. They crashed. Fern the actress had a really good reaction the way she screamed no. They crashed by the school. So we don't know how KB is at this point. But after the X-Wings show up and kind of, again, cause a lot of damage, taking the ship out, luckily most of it crashes into some water. I think the Jaleel White might be dead. I'm not sure. But it seemed like a lot of these pirates are probably dead if they didn't escape. But Jod just kind of look. He at one point, Wim now lights the lightsaber and it looks pretty badass. And Jod's holding his gun and he just gives up. Now, again, there's another reason that makes me think he's kind of full of it violence-wise. He doesn't go through with killing the dad. He doesn't actually shoot the mom or Fern. He says some mean things. When Wim says the good guys are coming, he's like, there aren't any good guys. He goes, he's not really a Jedi. I was taken in by a Jedi. And then I was forced to see them called traitors and murdered in front of me. So that's the galaxy that you're used to. And I wonder who this Jedi is. I don't think when he first said female Jedi, my first thought was Ahsoka, because that's the only female Jedi I know. Well, unless of course you count Princess Leia. And I guess Rey. Now, wait a minute. No. The timing would not fit. No. So I don't know if this is just an unnamed female Jedi, because I'm sure there were many. But he's like, that's just the way that the world was. So he was kind of brought in by a Jedi and taught by a Jedi. So a Jedi, this is obviously after the fall of the Jedi, the Order 66, all that stuff. The Jedi are in hiding. He's training. He must have trained him as a new apprentice. Not the apprentice again. Oh my goodness. I feel like we need to learn more about that. So he lets them escape. He kind of just watches them escape. Then we see Jod by the window watching his ship go down, and it reminded me a little bit of Fight Club, that back shot of watching, a big crash in front of you. And he has this look of like despair, this look of like, I've been beaten, I've been lost. And then it seems like something dawns on him, and he has this final little look of like, this little mischievous kind of smile, like maybe it's not all over for me. So that made me think, oh, okay, this is set up for something in season 2. There's something going on, and that's where season 2 comes into play. That's the big thing, because the people leave, they head back to the school, they find Neil, he's fine, they find the ship, and the ship landed okay. It opens up, and it was kind of a cool shot of all the gold credits falling out and KB rolling onto the credits. She wakes up, she's fine, she's like, did we win? We won. They're like, come, and then the ship almost crashes on them. 33 comes down, they're like, everyone's happy, everyone's saved. And the dad's like, come on guys, we got to get out of here. We don't want you to go through this whole adventure just to have this ship fall on you and crush you. So they're about to leave, and Wim looks up and he sees the Jedi, and he sees he sees the X-Wing pilots. He's looking and he's looking, and it fades to black, and that's the end of the episode. Almost like, now my world, maybe he's thinking now my world can be part of the rest of the world, the adventure that's out there. Fern said something to her mother when her mother was like, we're trying to keep you safe from the rest of the world. And she's like, it's scary out there. There's a lot of bad places, but every place we went, even the worst of the worst, there were still good people. And I thought that was a cool little message that maybe the adults on AT-AT need to hear, the people in charge, because really, if there's just a computer in charge, and now that computer's gone, there's going to be a whole new system. There's going to be a whole new world. It's not going to be run by droids. It's going to be run by people. And those people are going to have to decide what to do. Are they going to join the Republic? What's going to be done with Jod? Is Jod going to make a run for it? I feel like we're going to get a season 2. I feel like we have to, but here's the tricky thing with kids. It can't be just 2 months later, because these kids are like, within a month, their voices have all changed. They're probably all like a foot taller. And unless they filmed 2 seasons back to back and they fooled us, I wonder if it's going to get a time jump, or maybe we just don't get a season 2. I don't know. I feel like we have to get a season 2 after that. So I liked about 99.9% of the episode. I thought the speeder bike chase was awesome fun. Just reminded me of, old 80s action, adventure family movies. I liked that, we found out about the supervisor. I liked that the barrier was taken down, so AT-AT joins the rest of the universe. I liked the X-Wings coming in. The cavalry came. At one point, I thought they said we can call those people, and I thought all kinds of people, not just the Republic. I thought the good guys from different planets were going to show up. I don't know how many good guys there were in different planets, but there was that one planet. Well, the one that made them go to war, but then they kind of helped them too. But it was just the Republic, the new Republic, right? Yes. So what could season 2 be? I don't know, but it can't be just the kids. Well, it could be the kids going on a new adventure, but it can't be them accidentally going on an adventure, I think. I don't know. But it's like the last line was like, well, you don't have to worry about taking your assessments, Wim. I was like, why? Oh, because the school got wrecked, I guess. And that was the end of the episode. It was very kind of, in the end of the season, it had that kind of fun little like, and that's the end. That's all, folks. But I would have liked some little stinger piece where they come down and they talk, and this is AT-AT and the Republic and welcome and this and that. We didn't get anything like that. It just ended. So I thought the ending was a little abrupt, but other than that, I liked it. And I thought Jude Law's character, Jod, gave up pretty quickly. And again, I know this is a family show, so we're not going to have, tons and tons of murder. But I thought there'd be something where he makes a run for it or something, or he tries to shoot and Wim blocks it with the lightsaber, something where we see, oh my God, he is really some of the lowest violence and villainy and scum that this planet has ever seen. And also, AT-AT's a giant planet, but thankfully everything happens in this town. Is there anything else on this planet? What's on the other side? Is it all here? Is this where the mints are? I don't know. That's the thing with any of these Star Wars planets. It's like we see one part of the planet, but think about how big Earth is. There's another whole side of Earth. You could be watching it from the other side of Earth right now. Just because they came here to, attack, what's going on over there? I don't know. And it doesn't matter. That's overthinking it. But I just wonder what happens to Ad-Atten now. That's the big thing. What happens to Ad-Atten now? And what happens to Jod? Those are the only kind of questions left. And that's only if we get a season 2 of Skeleton Crew. Will we? I kind of think we will. I hope we will. I enjoyed it enough. And I hope you enjoyed it too. If you've noticed that my camera changed a little bit here, it's because my other camera that I was filming this on, if you're watching this on video, ran out of battery and died. While in the middle of this, I forgot to charge it. That's on me. But it kind of made it to the end. So we made it. I'm happy that I watched this show. I'm happy that I did another podcast about the show, because The Mandalorian Man started as a show to talk about The Mandalorian, but it kind of evolved into every live action Star Wars show that is on Disney Plus. That will continue to go, whether we just get one-offs over and over again, whether we get multiple seasons of shows. I will be here doing it. I hope you stick around and watch it or listen to it, however you're finding it, whether it's on YouTube at Fans Not Experts, at fansnotexperts.com, or if you're finding it on one of the podcast apps or services that you use. On Spotify, you can watch on video and audio, and everywhere else you can just hear my beautiful voice. Now I'm holding my phone up in front of me, recording the rest of this, and my arm's getting a little tired, so I'm going to finish up here. You can find me on social media at Geek Mentality. That's Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, Mastodon.social. All that is Geek Mentality. TikTok is Geek Mentality Mike while it's still alive. As I said, YouTube is Fans Not Experts, and the website is fansnotexperts.com. That's it. I'm done. We did it again. Another season, another series. I don't know what comes next. I really have no idea what's coming next. I think it might be Andor coming back for season 2. So that'll be exciting. See if I can find some new Neil Diamond songs to sing. If you don't know what that little reference means, go back and listen to Andor with Candor, because I think that's what we're getting next. But in the meantime, go to anywhere on social or go to youtube.com/fansnotexperts, whatever it is. Fansnotexperts.com is where you can find everything that I do, everything I work on. There's other podcasts besides this. I think the next big thing I'll be doing, besides my Reaction Comics podcast, my /horror podcast, my big thing in March is a brand new season of Marchie McFly over at Geek Mentality. Really just go to fansnotexperts.com to find everything I do. That's it. I'm done. I will see you in the future, or in the past, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. In the meantime, may the Force be with you, and remember, Crewnies never say die.
Fans Not Experts.